With NCIS, Tony and Ziva dropping on Paramount+, the first 3 episodes became available to stream, and episode 2 has one of the most chaotic sequences in the show so far. Tony, Michael Weatherly, and Ziva, Cote de Pablo, end up being attacked by smart cars. While on the run from Interpol with no NCIS backup in Italy, Tony and Ziva use the smart car that has been upgraded by their new hacker ally Boris, Maximilian Osinski, but the car's system is hacked. In fact, all the smart cars in the small town where they are trying to track another hacker come after them. Tony carrying a knife in NCIS, Tony and Ziva episode 2 saved his life. Episode 2 sees Ziva use Tony as bait. Michael Weatherly on the ground in front of a car in NCIS, Tony and Ziva. Image via Paramount+. When Tony and Ziva lose control of the smart car Boris has upgraded, dubbed My Baby, it is actually the least of their problems. The packed action sequence sees Tony and Ziva first fight to get out of the car, then have to outrun several cars whose systems have been hacked to recognize their faces. With no way to hide their faces while they are standing in the middle of a circle of killer cars, Ziva takes a more direct approach to the cars. She uses Tony as bait, instructing him to run, so she can shoot out the tires of the cars that go after him. While that pays off an earlier flat tire from the smart car, and is a good plan for someone who is as good of a shot as Ziva, it does leave Tony vulnerable. Tony pulls a knife out of his pocket to use on one of the tires of a car coming for him after he falls in the middle of the road. If Tony did not have the knife in his pocket, it's likely Tony would have been run over by the car since Ziva was busy shooting out other car tires. Gibbs Rule Number 9 influenced Tony secretly carrying a knife. Gibbs rules live on in the NCIS franchise. Tony Di Nozzo, Michael Weatherly, Jethro Gibbs, Mark Harmon, and Ziva David, Cote de Pablo, in NCIS. Copyright symbol CBS, courtesy Moverstills DB. Tony carrying a knife on him is not just practical while he and Ziva are on the run from Interpol. It is also a callback to his time spent working under Special Agent Lurie Jethro Gibbs, Mark Harmon, at NCIS. Gibbs had a list of roughly 50 rules on NCIS, and he made sure to teach them, not necessarily in order, to the agents that worked with him. Rule number 9 is, never go anywhere without a knife, sometimes referenced as, never leave home without a knife. The rule was first referenced by Gibbs in NCIS Season 1, Episode 13, One Shot, One Kill. The episode sees Gibbs and Tony as part of the NCIS team investigating a sniper who kills a Marine recruiting officer. When Tony attempts to dig a bullet out of the wall in the office, he asks for Gibbs' knife, prompting Gibbs to recite the rule. It's likely that after that, Tony began carrying a knife, though it would not be the only time NCIS referenced the rule. The rule is also referenced in Ziva's final appearance in NCIS, Season 17, Episode 11, In the Wind, among others. The knife is not as obvious of a nod to the flagship series as Tony and Ziva still carrying around their NCIS badges. It is, however, a great way to honor someone they both cared about so much in the original show. Something as simple as Tony pulling a knife from his pocket is a reminder of all that he and Ziva learned while working with Gibbs at NCIS, even if Gibbs is not going to be physically present in NCIS, Tony and Ziva